So it's the handbook plus the board policy on the student rights and responsibility.
So, just to be clear, what are the student rights, do you have any specific student rights that you could like rattle off that are from the policy book?
It would be in board policy.
I mean, you're the principal, you should know what the rights are, right?
I would have to look up the board policy.
Look, do you know the students' rights? Like if a kid comes up to you and you're gonna ask him something, do you know what his rights are?
No, but I know where to find the document to find out what the student's rights are.
So,
If I need to, it's
so
very
is that-
given to us at a moment's notice.
so we have counsel.
Didn't memorize it, I don't know, but
Right.
I don't.
So, as far as the council's concerned, no matter what grade it is, what specific rights does a student have? Like, let's say if someone's gonna question them.
I think the rights are freedom of speech, like freedom of speech and
You have the same rights you have as an adult for the most part. As far as I'm concerned, the rights you don't have as a trial by the jury.
So, because adults are intimidating, okay, and this is, I definitely don't want to let it fuse, but I want to make sure that moving forward, if there's a possibility that we could integrate that into like the handbook so that the kids at least have that policy that Mr. Everett was talking about, and then definitely know what the policy is as far as the student rights. Now, to be progressive, I know that some school districts actually have like a little disclaimer that they blurt out to the kid, like people come up to the kid, they're like, hey, listen, you know, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, you don't gotta ask it. If you want, you could, whatever your policy is. Is that something that could be possible? Because, I mean,
Sure.
I definitely don't want to rehash anything. I just want to make sure moving forward that everybody is on the same page as far as like.
No, that's you.
Serious attitude. So I just want to make sure that the principal, the students, the teachers are all on the same page as far as like what the rights are to the kid. And if we could possibly, at a policy meeting, maybe come up with some sort of like, not a Miranda right or anything like that, but just like, you know, something that we could quickly say to the child when we're asking, like if Mr. Hauser has to talk to a student, even if it's something that Mr. Hauser does over and over, at least we know that Mr. Hauser lets the children know what their rights are as a student, and it protects Mr. Hauser too, so that he can, you know, conduct himself in the manner that the policy is written.
And we could post them too, I mean, it's there, it's a policy, instead of home search, we could post it and incorporate it.
Is that
I know
something?
right now, the student rights and responsibilities, the what the middle school has, it says copies of the rights are of the policy, and there's also available in the office in the school library, so that's the disclaimer they have. But as far as the physical thing, we don't have anything, the whole thing is not in the handbook.
Right. But moving forward, is that something that you would entertain, maybe coming up with some sort of like blanket little, like, hey, you have the right to do this, you don't gotta ask, you're not gonna answer, whatever. If you refuse, then I'm gonna call Pete in here, and he's gonna,
Yeah.
you know, just so that the kid has, because I know there's different levels as to what, because I researched this a lot. There's a lot of stuff that administration can do, which is very liberal, and it's for the safety of all the students, and I agree with that 100%, like Mike said. However, if that child decides that, hey, I know that this principal or whatever has the right to ask me to do this or tell me to do this, I could refuse. But with that refusal comes a consequence of the law.
Insubordination, too.
Right. So just so that the student knows, and it's not, I mean, elementary, we don't got to worry about this,
Right.
but
Well,
but once again, I'm trying to be progressive with this because I know that a lot of times that something that happens in the school, a parent might scratch their head like, wait, can that happen? And it is what it is, but if it's explained prior to, it might ease a lot of issues, you know, so that down the road we don't have, you know, people being confused or people, not understanding what they're allowed to do, what they can't do, what the students.
And some students do misinterpret it, they think the locker is their locker.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
those type of
I
things,
read.
so there's also that side of it too, that, as long as we, as many times as we tell them that, having a locker is a privilege, not a right, and it's not yours, it's owned by the school, and those type of things, but yeah, I'm sure we can do.
So, and even not to digress, but like if administrator or a faculty member comes up to someone, like even for the faculty, if they have the list of things, okay, I'm allowed to ask this kid this, or I'm allowed to go in his locker, or I'm gonna have to ask him to look in his bag, just so that they know and the student knows, because, no
What are we
offense to
worrying
Mr.
about?
Everett.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what exactly are you worrying about? What
Well, there's no
Student rights.
worry, I'm just want to make sure that everybody's in the know as to what their rights are as a student, because
Can I, Mr.
the
Chairman,
council did say that the students have rights.
one thing that we've always stressed to all the teachers, don't you search, don't go
Right.
looking into stuff. That's give to administration. We don't want you to put yourself in that harm that way to do that. So if there's ever any idea, suspicion, or anything, contact administration immediately. We'll proceed from there. You don't have to worry about it, that's off your plate, because I don't want to have to worry about 60 different staff members trying to go through and search someone or say, oh, you know what, I think something looks suspicious.
Absolutely.
And that staff
So-
knows that from there, and they've never done that. So
Never
that's
will.
one thing we've always stressed. You do not search, you do not look in, you do not look at their phone, you don't take their phone. If you have something like that at their bottom, you can take the phone, give it to us right away. We don't look at phones. That's not our property. Okay? So that is known, just like, we'll get a backpack. Before we go looking, we'll all ask, is there anything in this backpack that should not be in here?
So what's the protocol, like, and once again, I'm trying to be progressive with this. The protocol for any type of search, does Mr. Hauser, because he's the administration, have the carte blanche to do what the policy says, or does he have to check in with you?
He does have to check in.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
How many children in a middle school lock their lockers? Do they all do it, or?
Very few.
Very few.
And I will say, when I send people around here to tours, and especially with, different districts may come in and look at the buildings and those type of things, 99% of them have said, I cannot believe you don't have locks on your lockers, and you don't have an issue with that. And I say, it's because of the kid, it's the kids. And it's not, we're very fortunate here to be able to do something like that.
Mr. Cleaver, I digress on that, because Mr. Hauser told me that he knows that kids are doing that to other kids in lockers, but he filters that out when that happens.
Well, right.
No, that was not my statement at all.
What was your statement?
I don't remember exactly word for word because that was.
So how do you know that was your statement?
Because I did not say something to that.
Okay, so what did you say? Well, what would you do now? If someone
Can I
gets,
answer the question, Mr. Bradley, you're just going to continue to talk over me and then selectively edit your video to make me look bad on YouTube later. What would you like done?
sure, go ahead.
Sure you're
answer.
going to selectively edit it to make me look bad on YouTube
Sure, you
later?
can answer if you'd like.
I can answer if I'd like. Thank
Yes.
you very much. Again, this is context, and I have to be careful because this was a parent meeting, and I don't want to violate FERPA rights. So I want to be careful in how this is addressed. The question came up as to if the locker is searched, if there is access from others to that locker, potentially. Potentially, sure. Some lockers are not locked. Is that taken into account? Yes. Do I view things like security cameras to possibly detect that? Yes. Do I ask questions to students if something is found in there? Yes. Every situation is going to be unique. That's the context of that. So, no, what you had just said, oh, but Mr. Hauser said this is what happens, we have this problem, it's not the case. There's not many reports of locker theft at our high school. I'm talking single digits. And in a building with 703 students, that many lockers, and maybe 10 of them that are locked, and we have single-digit theft reports in a year, that's pretty good, you know, and the amount of searches that happen in a given year, again, 703 kids, I'm not looking at many lockers. It's when there's that reasonable suspicion that we have discussed.
And Ms.
And
Wallace,
there's a full investigation that goes with it.
and I apologize, I was trying to promote the good behavior and how fortunate we are to have the types of kids we are, and that Mr. Bradley turned it into a discussion like that, so I do apologize, but again, I want to reiterate that
I was just
how
curious
fortunate
many
we
kids
are.
actually
Right.
All students
decide
are,
to do that.
all students are told, they're suggested to put a lock on their
Oh,
lockers.
yeah.
I would probably right now, guess, I have not walked around the entire building counting locks on lockers. There's less than 10 right now, in probably the high school, I
I
can tell you
thought
right
we
now.
were talking.
Same here.
And they've been encouraged. They choose not to because they don't like fiddling with them, and it takes too much time, they don't want to be late for class, they don't want to drop their stuff. It's highly encouraged.
If they want to lock in their locker, all they have to do is bring one in, give us a combination of the key in case we ever need to get in there for something. And sometimes, mostly, that's just getting their books when you're sick and you need to pick up your homework. That's all they have to do. And they can have a lock on their locker.
Any other questions, Ms. Wallace?
So just to piggyback on the social media aspect of it, can we also put in a handbook about like school-sponsored events, like let's say, like the football players take a picture, that the coach would have to review it before it gets put on?
We legally can't, that's up to them, that's their.
Yeah, but if it's going on like a football, like a.
We don't control,
You don't control any of it.
I have one, LASD info, that I take responsibility for. I will not take responsibility for anybody else.
So, would that still be considered something that's like an outside school, even though they have?
I don't even know legally if it's,
I wish I could give you a bright line test for what's legal with regards to the First Amendment. And if you can, you could probably get a job as a law professor.
No,
The way the standards works is the students have the First Amendment right to speak.
Right.
Sometimes they
this is
say,
their staff.
yeah,
yeah.
same thing goes with the staff. Sometimes people end up posting stuff that negatively affects how the school is running.
Right.
Like if you say that you're pissed off, you think the school should be shut up, that's gonna be an issue. If you say your principal was unfair to you, or isn't any number of